Ladies and gents, welcome to the 120th ever episode of The Next Podcast. I'm Alex.
I'm Jimmy.
And I'm Kellz.
And today, folks, we are here. We are back for another round of, surprisingly meaty Pokemon news weeks, despite the fact that the game is out and there's no more crazy rumors. But, there totally are, a million crazy rumors. But, welcome. Especially if you're a new listener, welcome. This is our Pokemon podcast. We are from the YouTube channel The Dex on YouTube, where we go into lore and trivia and strategy about Pokemon. And here on this show, we just do Pokemon news, read fan mail, and we sometimes have deep, heady discussions about a children's game about capturing animals. But before we begin, how is everybody's Pokemon week?
Slow.
Jimmy is still working on the game, as are we all.
At a snail's pace.
Yeah. We however, are only going slowly because we are, at the mercy of our own ability to record a Let's Play of the game.
Right.
But Jimmy, on the other hand, is savoring it like a fine glass of cognac or a Cuban cigar, I can only imagine, right?
Dude, if I played this game like I drank wine, the game would be done by now. I'd have a VGC team ready to go.
Are you liking it so far?
Yeah. I have my complaints.
Do they involve feeding beans to your Pokemon sloppily and not being able to opt out of calling for help?
Yeah, I bet they involve Pokemon asking other Pokemon to come and help them out of tough situations.
Oh, absolutely. That is here's my actual problem with it. I think it's a purely just bad mechanic from the get-go, but it's tolerable on one condition. Why can they call for help as an additional action to doing a move?
That's what I'm saying. If you're faked out, you shouldn't be able to do it.
If you do a move, you shouldn't be able to do it. If you use an attack on me, let's D&D rules this. Both of those things should be a full action,
right?
Right. Well, granted, looking at it from a positive, just an optimistic perspective, I would imagine that the rationale is that most people who really are going to care about this spend probably 80% more time in the post game than they do playing through the game, and that having this feature is really useful post game and cleans up a lot of the stuff involving shiny chaining and getting IVs. You know what I mean? And in that sense, I like this mechanic, but I don't like it in my game when I'm using my Pokemon where my philosophy is I'm not going to care about stats and nature right now because I don't want to have to really struggle. I'm just going to try and get through it and enjoy it at my own pace. And then I'm, in a battle with a Rattata for 40 minutes because he calls for 15 other Rattatas to come help him. And it's just why is this right now? How about that just happens when you beat the champion or whatever, at the end of the game, the very last thing that happens, and now Pokemon are emboldened by your power and will rely on each other, on their friends for help like you did on your journey.
Yeah.
It's not hard. That's stupid. That's all
heady.
It would take. It's all it would take.
I mean, I just think it's even as shiny stuff and IV stuff, I think it's just a sloppy mechanic. I think that dex navving, fishing chain, any of that stuff was better for shinies. Actually, for both, it was both better for both.
I think the rationale is just that it's quick. It's the same experience, but just sped up because you're not leaving the battle. It's you're chaining Rattatas until you get 40, and when you hit 40, then you get 4 IV ones, and then you're done. And that's one task that you can do. Or you can keep chaining like you were doing before. But I think that they were just this grass thing is really complicated if you're a kid. So they want to just make it something that you can just all right, you just do this and then eventually it'll happen.
I feel I just feel there are better ways. I feel this is, I feel just, if it's so tedious to go in and out of battles, then make your in and out of battle animations shorter and make your game optimized to load faster.
Sure.
Like,
I mean, just
I don't
for
know.
me, like those problems are much secondary to the fact that it's like happening during my like campaign experience. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
If it was just something that I had to deal with like in between repels that I'm always using in all the grass everywhere because I don't have time for it, you know, then great. Or if I'm like trying to grind out, like, you know, to level somebody up, like, and I want to do it, that's great. But it shouldn't. I have no idea why it's there during the game.
It just happens so often, and it's so tedious,
Yeah,
and it's like
seems crazy.
you're like, I need to get back to the Pokemon Center, and you're like, oh my god, I'm in another battle, I'm not gonna make it. Like it Pokemon, when you're like playing through the main story, it's kind of like a challenge to get through a route, you know, and so it's like it makes it even harder, and it's just like I just want to get through it so I can continue to play.
All those times when you're stranded in that cave, like poisoned and stuff, it's just like it's like a to the max version. But we cannot get caught up in ranting about this one feature again on this podcast.
I can. No. What was the other thing that you guys mentioned that you?
The other thing
predicted?
that I mentioned that's annoying is the beans.
Oh
No,
yeah,
I
like
like
the
the
bean menu
beans.
just doesn't slide over.
I tweeted about that
yeah,
today,
that's
and it
awful.
got like 50 retweets, and I was like, "Ha, vindication."
It's so hard to scroll that bean menu.
Yeah. Why?
But, I mean-
why not just make the bean icon slightly smaller
I
and make
really,
the whole?
I really,
Or make like a little tiny scroll bar.
Isn't
really
there,
don't know.
Isn't there only one more color of bean on the menu that's like out
At
of
first,
sight?
but then you get more.
Well, you get
Oh,
more
okay,
you
okay.
get more from Pokepelago eventually, but like still.
It's just funny. I thought that was the whole roster of beans. So like the first time I was in there, I was like, "What's over here?" And I spent like a minute trying to scroll over, and it was just
Right.
like and single bean.
It's
Right.
so bad. It's so hard.
Crazy.
I'm trying
Why
to like
can't you
find
just
a
use
technique.
like the D-pad?
I
know.
know.
My only other thing is like just a lack of a feature that I made up in my head in the first place, so I can't like hold it against the game, but it just seems crazy that with all the extra like little quests there are to do that you find around, that there isn't some sort of like Skyrim style or
Like,
Bomber's
write it
Notebook
down.
style, just like quest tracker.
It's like,
That would
hey,
be nice.
remember this person asked you to go get Stuffle? Like you have Stuffle now. Remember, she's over here. You don't have to like just walk around and find her again.
It's like boop, and then like that's your active quest, and that makes the blue flag. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
like that's it. That's all it would have taken. But I mean, that's just something that I made up that was never on the table. So I cannot hold it against the game.
Aside from that, though, I'm liking pretty much everything else.
Yeah.
All the new animations are great.
So good, so good.
Astonish.
Personality galore.
I love that everything has Astonish at the start of the game because I
Yeah,
get to see
yeah.
that wonderful animation over and over again.
He's like, I'm gonna go over. Woo!
Yeah.
Ah! It's great. It's so cute.
I love the feeling when a franchise I like, a game comes out and you start feeling like, oh, is this the best one? Could this be the best one in the series thus far? Are we there? Did we make it again?
It's good. It's really good.
Like I'm not like gonna be like, yep, this is the best one, but I'm like my spider sense is tingling on it. You know what I mean? I haven't spent. I'm not all pruny. I just barely dipped my toe in. I'm not all. I haven't. You know.
Yeah.
I'm not like gross yet, but I'm feeling really good. That's all I can say.
I love Pokéride.
It's a triumph
All
over
I have is Tauros right
the
now.
past.
But like, they're like, hey, you know how all of these different things that Tauros is, like the bike and Rock Smash at the same time. You know
Yeah.
how those things were really tedious previously? Let's just put them together, make it 0 seconds for it to start out.
And let's play the greatest song that's ever been in a Pokemon game.
So good.
So
It's like-
I've yet to see the other ones, but I'm excited.
So you don't. So there are some Poké Ride creatures that you like don't know what they are yet.
I mean, I know of Charizard from the
Right.
trailer, and I think Sharpedo is the surf one. I
Well,
think,
there-
or
I mean,
or
I'm
something.
I'm gonna say my favorite because it was in trailers like before the game came out. But Stoutland,
That's right.
he's so cute. I love riding around
He's
on
so
Stoutland
big.
because he just
Oh.
like plops around with his little fat body.
He's
It's
too big.
So
He's
cute.
bigger than I ever
so
thought.
cute.
Speaking
And then when
of,
he like goes on his little like hands and knees to like sniff out stuff, the animator like did a great job with that.
speaking
So
of
so cute.
of that, let me just call out Pokemon on one more thing that I was discussing in the TVG podcast earlier today. Their like roadblocks in this one are like all-time low of like believable or understandable. Like, you know how previously it would be
it's like Earthbound, yeah.
Yeah, previously it's like Earthbound, like there's a row of ants here, you might not want to step over them. But like in old Pokemon games, like in X and Y, they had one that was like, there's construction down this road right now, if you don't mind. And it's like, that's fine, I'm cool with that. That like it's a really like, you're not even showing construction, it's literally just a guy with a hat, but I'll accept it. And first thing on Akala Island, Lily's like, meet me at the hotel when you're ready, or you could do other stuff, but you can't because the only other road in town is blocked by a guy on a herdier who's just like,
oops,
man, my herdier really likes to find things on the ground. I'd appreciate if you don't step on this 30-foot wide road while I go find things on the ground on it, please. It's like, no.
Yeah,
you would never listen to that guy in real life. You'd be like, so I'm going this way in this town. Sorry, guy.
It seems like it's opening up a little bit more as the game goes on, which I'm thankful for, but it is pretty like and you know it like right away when the screen like fades, you're like, oh damn it. And you're like, God, yeah, it's the worst. And you'll like run into the same one like several times as you're having fun on the Tauros.
Yeah, like that kid before the like island party or whatever in like the first hour of the game who's like,
yes,
like, whoa, where are you going? The island party's this way. It's like, stop.
Yeah. Hey, hold on. Not that way. Not that way. Not that way. This way only.
Anyway, I'm that's all my complaints for the game, but I like pretty much everything else.
It's a huge step forward in a lot of ways that it doesn't normally step forward. You know what I mean? It feels much more like a game from right now.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And speaking of right now, let's jump right into the news!
Welcome to the news, darlings!
That was very sly.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah? You like that one?
Yeah.
Clean.
That was like, you could play the battle animation for Astonish over that and it would match right up.
That's perfect, yeah. Dude, the battle animation for Astonish should have its own Facebook group. Anyway, Magearna is finally here. The gear fairy for American, European, and Australian markets. The QR code is available directly off the Pokemon website, which is like super easy. All that needs to happen is you need to have beaten the game, just the main story of the game to get it, but don't worry about it because the code never expires, so it'll be pretty easy to get Magearna for pretty much everyone. But you can only use it once per game.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Was anybody excited about? Is there any reason to be excited about Magearna?
There's something about this Magearna. If you're already signed up for the Pokemon Global Link or something, you get a gold bottle cap from this Magearna.
Huh.
But
if you're
I don't
already
know.
signed up for what?
For the Pokemon Global Link, which we've been signed up for.
Well,
years.
no, you have to actually redo it. Actually, that's a good PSA right now. Is because they redid the Global Link, so you have to like go do that. That's what I tried to sign up for the catching contest, which it looks like we're gonna like totally fail. By the way, the catching
it's
100,
only like 3 more
100
days.
it was 100 million Pokemon, and we're like at like 11 million. That was just too big of a number, but it was like, yo, you're not like at all linked with the Global Link because your game is new. It's Sun, so you have to like log it into the game again.
Yeah,
And I
but
was
like
like,
you
oh,
already
yeah.
have a Global Link account, so I think like that's what it means.
Yeah, I just mean like it's because it's Sun and Moon. You have to like go back to the website and
Right.
like you can't just do it straight from the game.
Right.
So just make sure when you go to sign up for that, and you only have a couple days. What's the date?
It's the 13th is the day that it's like ended, and this is coming out on
The 9th. So you still have a couple days. You just got to go log in, and you get 100 FP for it, even if it or FC or whatever it is. Even if we don't hit the goal. But yeah, Global Link. Anyway,
Think about it.
yeah, think about it. Get it. The gold bottle cap, by the way, is a really interesting thing, and we can just talk about this real quick because I wouldn't say this is like a spoiler so much as it is an explanation of a mechanic. Hyper training is something that we have been sort of like speculating about for a while, and I just wanted to explain to people how it works in brief terms.
Okay.
So bottle caps you can get from various places, but the easiest place seems to be the Festival Plaza.
Uh-huh.
And there's silver bottle caps and there's gold bottle caps. And a silver bottle cap raises one stat, and a gold bottle cap does all the stats. And the way it works is hyper training is separate. The reason they use a different word is because you can only do it when your Pokemon's already level 100, first of all. And second of all, it doesn't actually change their base stats, if that makes sense. It gives them the abilities that they would have if they had those stats, but for people who...
So basically, the Pokemon acts as though it has perfect IVs, but does not breed down those IVs.
Right, so that you can't like just like do it once and then like cheat it out. It's like so that you can train your team and not have to waste all that time like figuring everything out and breeding everything down each time and like painstakingly resetting for hours and hours and hours. You can just get one that's the right nature and ability, and you don't even need to have it the right ability because you can use the ability capsule. It's just... it's just stuff like that that makes me happy.
Yeah, that's a very easy avenue for getting a good Pokemon.
Yeah.
It's a really good solution for like not just like throwing away the effort of breeders. It's like a good
Right.
like asterisk.
And then like for those Pokemon that require like a 0 IV, you can do it with silver bottle caps and like still breed down that 1 IV because it's not all that hard.
Right.
So that's good. I like that. It's a good, elegant solution.
Like if you think about the 40 chain thing with the IVs that way, right? Like that's one way of doing it is to chain 40, or you can like not worry about it and just get like your gold bottle cap,
right.
you know? And they're not like impossible to come by, you know? It's still a grind to get them, but it's like one repetitive activity that you're doing that's like kind of more guaranteed of a thing than like just like literally rolling the dice over and over again. But yeah, I digress. Magearna supposedly comes with a gold bottle cap if you get registered with the global link. So I just wanted to like give you the gravity of that situation and how useful of a thing that is. Like it's really worth getting.
Quick question: Does it max out the IV?
Boom, 31.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Boom, 31.
So a gold one would just be like this Pokemon's now
Viable.
Perfect.
Okay.
IVs. Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Use it on your legendaries, kids.
Yep.
Isn't that tight?
Yeah,
Yep.
that is tight. It is tight.
It is tight. You're right.
Solution to a problem.
It's like one of the things that we have been railing about on this show forever, and it just is solved.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Which is great. It's going to cut down so much more on hacking too. Because
Yeah.
it's so much easier.
Because you don't need to
You don't-
now.
Yeah, you can
It's-
just get
yeah.
it.
You can still do your like little complicated trick, aka getting the FCs and whatever, but it's like not as annoying, and it's like at the pace of the game rather than you just like being a turd. So that's
Yep.
tight. Speaking of things that are tight, the first trailer showing Empoleon gameplay in Pokken is out. Looks like Empoleon is like a mid-speed hard hitter. Its animations are like super tight looking, and it utilizes like slippery ice and like steel arms like that look like much more like blades than they normally do to deliver some pretty cool combos. Maybe someday we'll play it on our Wii U's or our Switches. I'm thinking that probably what it's going to be at this point is that they're going to just be like, oh yeah, there's like a Game of the Year edition for Switch that has everything. Get that one.
Yeah.
Which kind of sucks, but
Yeah.
I think that's something that they kind of had to like, if I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt, I would imagine that they were like, oh, this is all happening at once. All right.
Yeah,
We-
I don't know what to think. I mean, it's cool that Empoleon's in it. We kind of knew for a while. Like as soon
I
as
just thought because originally it was like there's 3, and then there 3 came out, and one of them wasn't Empoleon, and I was just like, what?
yeah, Krogunk.
But like, actually, I like if I didn't know anything, I would be like, whoa, cool. I don't know why they picked him, but I'm in.
I mean, he's cool. I just why Toxicroak.
Right.
I just that's my own thing. I understand. I'm watching this Empoleon trailer on the side right now. It's really really cool.
He just
is
looks
cool.
way better animated than most of the other. It's just his attacks are just much more like cohesively. I can like see what's happening a lot more. It's tight.
Is Pokken coming to the Switch?
It's not 100% confirmed, I don't think, but it's like probably
Seems
coming
like
to the Switch.
a good idea
It's-
because like if they're still
yeah.
putting out new characters,
I
and
think
stuff
it's about
for
as
it, like-
confirmed as like Skyrim. Well, maybe not Skyrim. I think Skyrim is actually confirmed. But
It's
like
about as confirmed as like Smash.
yeah, or like Dark Souls trilogy. Which, think about that for a second. Anyway, moving on. Empoleon, we're all excited for Empoleon. We have no negative feelings about this, right?
I mean,
We're
my negative feeling is that they haven't been supporting Pokken in any way, shape, or form.
Right.
But, that's just my negative feeling about Pokken all the time. So, nothing new here.
But we're hyped for, Empoleon as a character in Pokken looking pretty good.
Yeah. Really hyped for all of my Japanese friends who get to experience that.
If it comes out on the Switch, I think that'll be its chance because then people can walk around with it.
And
I think that would
tournaments will not be a mess.
Right. They were just awful. They were just shooting themselves in the foot. But I think they just wanted to put it out when the arcade game came out too.
Mm-hmm.
But they didn't want to, because it was not technically suited to the Wii U. Really.
Yeah. Like having to land it in order to.
Yeah, it just seemed like it was a little bit too big of a game for it. But anyway, I digress. There is a glitch on the battle spot right now.
No.
That Game Freak has acknowledged and is working on a patch for. It's very specific, though. So if the final Pokemon on both players' teams is knocked out in the same turn by an effect of certain moves and abilities and items, the game will automatically determine a player the winner if they're holding a Rocky helmet.
Great.
It's really not going to impact that many battles.
It's so specific. It's kind of funny.
And then there's also been some issues with the moves, the very important moves, Memento and Parting Shot, which aren't actually very important at all. But both glitches are being investigated and should be resolved shortly, or at least I hope they will be, because the first battle competition for Gen 7 has been announced. It's tight. The Battle of Alola competition is a single battle competition where you bring 6 and you use 3. You can't use items at all, which I think is kind of cool, but kind of meow. But we'll see how it goes later. And you're permitted to take one special Pokemon, such as Solgaleo, Lunala, Ash Greninja, or Magearna with you. Sign-ups for the competition are happening from now until December 15th, a.k.a. tomorrow, if you're listening to this on day 1, or today, if you're listening to this on Saturday. And the competition runs the 16th through the 18th, which is just right afterwards. And if you participate, you get 50 BP. Who doesn't want that?
Everybody loves BP.
BP is useful. You can use that BP however you'd like. There's no shortage of BP. And here's a cool thing about the game that is also cool. Check this out.
Checking it out?
You can download the rules for different things onto your system. So you can download the rules for this and then check your
Practice.
team against it.
Yeah.
Same thing with
Nice.
VGC. You can be bam. Oop, can't use that. Not going to waste my time.
Yeah.
It's tight.
Yeah, it's really cool.
But yeah, there are only a few more days for the first global event. Actually, I'm sorry. I said that it's today and tomorrow. It's not now. I thought it was the 14th for some reason. It's actually we have 6 days to register. So you're actually doing all right. Don't trip. But there are only a few more days for the first global event, which is the catching the Pokemon thing and activating the game sync thing that we were talking about earlier, catching 100 million Pokemon, which was a crazy number. It ends in 4 days. If you've already signed up for the PGL in the past and you participate, you receive a bonus gold bottle cap.
That's
if
what
the
it
goal
was.
is
It wasn't
met.
for the Magearna. It was for the Global Link event. That's what it was.
Okay, well, you get a gold bottle cap if the goal is met, which is not going to happen. But unless we all pull together and just do a PSA.
Go catch Pokemans.
I should do a John Oliver style segment at the end of my next PSA about this and be like, guys, we have a few days. Let's share this. Let's go out there. Let's catch as many Pokemon as we can. Let's get that 100 million Pokemon. Let's share it. Let's do it. Let's make this. Let's get that gold bottle cap.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it.
Anyway, moving right along. This is where we get into crazy territory. I know some people are going to be uncomfortable with this, so I'm just going to lay out ground rules first. We're about to talk about Pokemon Go. Some of the stuff that we're talking about has been officially announced, and some of the stuff that we are talking about has been revealed through data mining. And in order to stay relevant, we've made the judgment call that we don't really care about spoilers for Pokemon Go in the same way that we do about a main series game. So we're going to report on the data leaks and whatnot.
But all officially announced news will be first, and then there will be a small pause, and then the rest of it.
That is our compromise. So just be aware that that's happening. And here we go. Pokemon Go is rolling out a pretty large update for iOS and Android. We've learned that in the last day or so. The update notes show some small features like transferring multiple Pokemon at once and adding type icons to gym battle screens. On Wednesday, Niantic announced a partnership with Sprint stores across the United States. Sprint stores are going to become Pokestops and gyms, and many Sprint locations will offer charging stations for your Pokemon Go excursions. Like,
I think it's something like 10,800 Sprint locations in the United States are becoming Pokestops and gyms.
yeah, so like if you have a Sprint store by your house and you've been like, I don't have any Pokestops to go to, this is like at least one more place that you can go, and that's not even going to be the end of it for this. But literally, you're also going to be able to go into Sprint stores and be like, I'm playing Pokemon Go and I need to charge it, and people aren't going to be like, you're a weirdo. They're going to be like, here you go. Which is tight.
Yeah, that is tight.
Pokemon Go has also teamed up with Starbucks for the holiday season. Okay, so 7,800 Starbucks, probably one near you, if you're listening to this, probably have been made into Pokestops and gyms. And if you visit one, there's actually a Pokemon Go Frappuccino that you can order, that you can sit there and drink while you put down a lure or whatever. So that's pretty cool. That's like a bunch more Pokestops across the country that you can go to. Like, you know, it doesn't like instantly fix anyone's problems, but if you're looking for that nearby neighborhood stop, I bet you there's a Starbucks by you. Go scope it.
Yeah.
Go scope.
Go scope it.
Go scope.
And they all have the same icon. They have this. They have like the holiday Frappuccino icon on it,
Yeah.
so you'll know that it's part of the promotion if it's got that on it.
Hashtag,
cool.
hashtag Pokemon Go scope it. All right. Finally, in official news, in a quick press release from John Hankey, who is, I believe, the CEO of Niantic, right? Mm-hmm. Keep your ears out on December 12th, a.k.a. 3 days from now. 3 meager days from now, for the first official information about the Gen 2 Pokemon coming to the game.
Woo!
In 3 short days, we will have some answers as to when Gen 2 goes live.
And it's probably before the end of this year.
Probably.
Probably.
And this year is only like 20 more days.
Yeah, and in that same amount of time, a Star Wars movie comes out. So
What?
it's like Christmas. But then guess what? Christmas also is in this.
It is
span
actually
of
just
days.
Christmas.
So you're just triple lucky. Look at you. Or Hanukkah, whatever. It's not about religion. Don't worry. All right. But that's the end of the official stuff. If
Yes.
you don't want to hear anything else, skip ahead. I'm not going to like...
the next bumper.
Well, I'm going to... There's not going to be a real great way to do that, but just do your best. You'll figure it out. I believe in you. We're going to say a few things that were found in the code of the game, and I'm going to start talking about it right now. Here we go. With Gen 2 coming, a few familiar features are coming as well. A new buddy Pokemon slot called the Baby slot is in the code. So, speculation about that is that maybe they will be treating baby Pokemon a little bit differently than
And
other...
maybe, yeah, because since they evolve by affection, maybe like you have to walk around with them and just like hang with the little baby Pokemon before they evolve.
Yeah. The other thing about that is that genders are going to be added to the game really soon as well. Mm-hmm. And so hearing those two things together, people are starting to think, well, maybe breeding isn't too far away either.
Right.
So that's another thing that's coming into the game. That's pretty cool.
Mm.
There's also code for shiny Pokemon mechanic,
Cool.
which is a cool thing. Also, like a lot more, like a significant number of avatar customization options.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
And also some text. No images yet, but text relating to holiday costumes for some of your Pokemon.
Oh man.
I don't
So
know what that
funny.
means. I don't know if it's like a color.
I wonder if your buddy Pokemon wears like a Santa Claus hat or something.
Yeah, I don't know exactly how that's going to translate. I don't know if it's going to be like, there's going to be like Santa Claus Delibirds or something like that. Mm-hmm. But I bet you Delibird could be a theme of this if it comes out in the next couple weeks.
True.
Calling it.
Oh yeah.
There's also been sound files added to the game for the 100 Gen 2 Pokemon. And if you're really into it, you can go find some projected stats for the Gen 2 Pokemon online as well. That's pretty crazy.
Yep.
So get ready for December 12th because it's going to be like a huge content update for the game. Like it's going to feel like, when it's like Halloween in World of Warcraft or something.
Ooh, I can't wait to get an Ampharos.
Yeah.
I'm so excited.
gonna
And
be hype.
Furret and Lantern, my favorites. Some of my best favorites.
Some of your best favorites?
Some of my very best favorites.
Great. You're going to get that Caesar.
Oh, me?
Yeah.
I mean, maybe.
Like you're not going to just like log in and be like, how easy is it to get this Caesar?
It might literally be a case of on the day of I turn my phone on and I open Pokemon Go and I look at my nearby Pokemon
And until you have any problem.
If there isn't a Scizor, I'm probably just gonna close it again.
It's like you're going to like continue to play Pokemon Go until there's any small
Like
inconvenience.
the most minor.
If it's so much as blinks at you.
If there's a pop-up that's like, check out our new features, I'm gonna be like, I'm out, peace.
I don't care. Throw my phone away. All right. But that's it for the news. But I would love to hear what you guys think about Pokemon Go and whether this stuff has worth to you. All this new stuff that's coming to the game and what stuff you're excited about. And I also want to hear what you guys think about, these things, these aspects of Sun and Moon that we've been talking about. I want to know what you guys think about hyper training, and I want to know what you guys think about the battle competition, the Global Link this time around, and whether you guys are actually excited about it or you think that you guys are going to stick with it for a long period of time. Which I feel that, I feel like, oh man, I'm going to be playing Sun and Moon for like 500 hours, I'm like feeling that right now, and it's pretty exciting to me. But please write in, let us know what you think about the stuff that's happening right now in Pokemon, and we will read them on the air for you. Okay, the way to do that is to send the emails to thedexcast@gmail.com. That's THEDEXCAST@gmail.com. And we'll take the ones that we get and we'll read them the following week in our Fanswers segment.
Fanswers, da 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 da. Fanswers, da 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 da.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you're new to the show, this is the segment that always happens. We call it the Fanswers segment because we're really clever. It's answers for our... It really isn't a great name, actually. It should be
it's good.
It should be like questions.
Questions? No.
Well, I don't mean like that.
Fanswers
Questions
is a great name.
I don't think questions is a better name. I just think like
Fanswers is a
more
fine
descriptive.
and great name.
I feel like we're not reading answers from the fan. I guess we kind of are. I don't know. Well, I don't know. I'm thinking about it too
because
hard.
we asked them a question. If you want, like, we asked them for input.
They answer it,
and then they
usually
answer
ask us a question.
Yeah.
It's a dialogue.
All right, yeah,
It's
you know
a
what?
two-way
It's
street.
Fanswers is totally solid.
Yeah, you know what? Sure.
Yeah.
I'm
Don't-
into it.
It's just don't. We're not doing
this
questions.
is how we're gonna do it. This is what we're doing.
We'd have to get Verity back in to re-record the song. It just doesn't like questions. Da, da, da. It just doesn't really work, you know.
Well, but when it's questions, it's got to match the sound of the. It's got to be like questions, so many questions.
Yeah, but like
See, I
it's too
can't-
iconic.
I can't-
Fanswers
yeah.
is too iconic of a jingle now. We can't just get rid of it. That would be
it's
like
true.
iconic
Yeah.
jingle. All right.
It's an
Yeah,
iconic
it's like
jingle.
it's like like
on
Subway,
top
eat
100.
fresh, but it's like Fanswers. Da, 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 da. It's like way up there.
It lasts
Yeah.
like 10 seconds. All right. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Our first email today comes from Jordan. Switch thoughts. Multiple saves. Price point. Goes like this. Hey, dogs. Just a thought. With Pokemon possibly moving to the Switch, do you think we may finally get multiple save files due to the families only having one console? Also, do you think the move will affect the price of the games, as console games tend to cost twice as much as handheld games? At least that's the case here in Australia. Thanks. Love your work, Jordan. P.S. Hashtag sorry for the short email. Hashtag sorry for the short hashtag.
those are
Hash-
good questions, Jordan.
Those are also good hashtags.
Yeah.
Hashtag thanks.
Do I think there's going to be multiple save files? Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to get around what we were talking about, Alex, last podcast, where I'm like, well, what if I want to play and it's on our Switch, but I want to play it whenever I want to, you know?
Yeah, but we're both buying a Switch. There's no
Right.
way around that.
Yeah.
There's
If
no
Pokemon
way that
comes
I'm
out
not
for
going
the
to have
Switch,
my
it's-
own Switch.
yeah.
That would drive me crazy.
Yeah.
No way.
Yeah. I understand.
Do I think that the move will affect the price of the games as console games tend to cost twice as much? Yes, I do.
Likely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
But I think in return we're going to get like a much bigger scope game with way better graphics and, audio and
Maybe Pokemon that follow you around or something. I don't know.
if there's no Pokemon that follow you around in the first like full-fledged Switch game, I will do nothing, but I will be very cross.
Hang on.
He will
Hang
cross
on.
his arms.
Hang on. Here, I have it. The money idea. The idea
The
of
money idea.
ideas.
Okay.
The money idea.
The money idea.
So you know how you can put your little controller down, pop off the sides, put it on the Switch, take that out, take it with you
Yeah.
on the go.
Yep.
So let's say that your Pokemon just chill with you usually, but pop little sides on the Switch and you pull it out, and your first Pokemon in your party jumps out as you go on an adventure together.
Aww.
Ha ha ha.
So when you
ha,
have-
yeah.
Yeah.
When you have the Switch controller disconnected from the TV, your Pokemon follow you around because they're like actually going on a thing.
Yeah, they're like, oh, we're like on the go right now.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm into that.
Very cute.
I'm into that.
Very good stuff.
That's the kind of stuff that we need to be thinking about. That's like the Switch. That's like the future of the Switch is stuff like that. Excited about that. But yeah, I think it's going to be the same price as a console game, but I think it's also going to be a console game, which to me is pretty damn crazy to think about. Like all of a sudden Pokemon's going to be like a AAA title.
yeah,
Yeah.
dude.
It's going to cost more to make. It's going to be like a big deal.
Yeah,
They're gonna have
it's
to
crazy.
make it like it's gonna have to be like GTA, like in terms of like value. It's gonna be crazy. Yeah. Hope that answers your email. Thank you for that. All right, here we go.
Here we go.
This one is from. How about? I'm just gonna call it.
I think that you should just say first names if there's no sign off.
I know. I just sometimes they're like, please don't say my first name. So I just always like have to skim the email real quick because I don't read them ahead of time. Mickey, last week you guys were pretty interested in the Sableye that attacked the Carbink after it called for help. I wanted to tell you about a similar interaction I encountered. First, I want to say that the Pokedex entry for Marini says that it eats Corsola and leaves a trail of Corsola parts in its wake. Brutal. So if you go to the appropriate fishing spot and encounter Corsola, it calls for help and eventually a Marini will show up. I had expected it to attack me along with the Corsola, but it actually turned to the side and attacked the Corsola.
Aw.
Brutal. I was so intrigued by her taking a bite out of the Corsola and thought it was so cool that I had to catch it. Plus, I remembered it from the photo of the art on the new Sun Moon TCG boxes.
Right.
And now I love this little girl. She's the perfect balance of brutal and adorable, a mean little cutie. She's become my new favorite Pokemon. My girlfriend actually said to me, why don't you just marry her? I love her so much, you guys. It's crazy. I'm not the kind to battle competitively, but I would suggest everyone give her a shot. She's a sweet little contender, and I need everyone to recognize how great she is. Alex, Kellz, anybody hearing this, please get you one of these sweet little babies and take it to nationals and beyond. Thanks for all that you do, guys. Hashtag sorry for the long email. Hashtag Marini for life. Hashtag cutie. Hashtag brutal. Hashtag cutal. Hashtag broody. Hashtag talks the best. Hashtag those Corsola probably had it coming anyway. Hashtag later, man.
Great. I love new support for new Pokemon. It's great. I've seen so many new Pokemon that I'm like, you are one of my favorites now.
I love
it.
emails. I love when emails like could be from youngster Joey.
That's true.
Yeah.
It's so much less annoying and much more endearing in real life.
Yeah.
Wha-
That's just reminds me of the horde battles from where you'd find like the one Zangoose or
Yeah,
one
yeah, we were saying
Seviper
that last week.
for the others.
Yeah.
I didn't know that they can call for hurt. That doesn't make me feel any better about the mechanic, but
Well,
it's
it's not
funny.
like
Yeah,
they're
it's-
calling
they call
for
for
hurt.
help, but,
They're
like,
calling for
something
help in
else.
the wrong,
Here-
like the
here's-
predators.
Yeah,
thing.
I'm just
Ooh,
saying, like
scary.
it was like a just joke wave referring to this.
But you know what is cool about the call for help mechanic though that I learned? For example, there was Magby and they just kept calling for help and I was like, okay, I'll just ride this out, see how long the chain will go. And then eventually a Magmar came and I was like, oh, did that break the chain? And I looked it up and it doesn't. So them
that's cool.
calling for help and another Pokemon appearing. If I were to knock out the Magby and then the Magmar were there, it would I think it would switch to a Magmar chain at that point,
Interesting.
which is
Weird.
crazy. So
that's how you get
yeah.
like
So yeah,
the
I don't
4IV
know.
Marini.
I don't know like fully the whole mechanics of that whole thing, but like it seems really involved and complicated, but like in an exciting way. And like if I just looked into it like once, it would be pretty simple to understand.
Actually, you know what? Now that I think about it, my thing that I really don't like about the call for help thing is that some Pokemon are specifically barred behind call for help and weather conditions combined.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
I don't know. It's like theoretically cool, and in action, it isn't IMO.
I feel like if I was on a blinder experience and then like I got to the end of the game and then I was like, oh, that's a thing, I would be like intrigued. But because
Yeah.
I'm like, I want this Pokemon right now, it says I can get it. How do I get it? I'm like, because like things like what time of day are like not really as clear in this Pokedex.
Yeah. Yeah, that is true. I didn't
yeah.
think about that.
But thank you for that email. This next one is from Lord Nathaniel. Lord Nathaniel. A regional quirk I noticed / possible future regions. Good day, Dex crew, and hope how are you? I screwed it up. Good day, Dex crew. How are you lot doing? Well, I hope. So, I played through my copy of Moon. Grand game. Loved it. But I admit that I was disappointed by the lack of any real shows on the televisions in the game. Just the Malasada reviews. That's true. But there was something I noticed during one of them, namely review of the mythic Malasada, and I'm going to quote it verbatim at this point. What is it? Is it sweet, spicy, but also sour, and maybe dry, and even bitter? Fair suck of the salve. That's a beauty. This is the best thing I've ever had in my mouth. It's so good. Munch, munch. I didn't believe the furphy. Munch, munch. So I cut out a bit there, but what stood out to me was that those comments at the end there are all chock full of Australian slang, which felt a bit out of place, kind of like how Kamala being in the game felt a little weird. Being an Aussie myself, I always hold out hope that the next region will be based on Australia. Have done since Gen 5, and these little nuggets make me hopeful. That said, I'll end this asking, what countries would you want to see regions based on? Thanks for the shows. You lot are awesome. From Lord Nathaniel. Hashtag sorry for the long email. Hashtag literally my sister walked past while writing this. Hashtag and she said. Hashtag boy that's a long email. Hashtag Beard Bros is awesome. Hashtag are you still cowboys? Thank you. Yes. P.S. Sorry for the addendum. I just thought you might want rough translations on the Aussie slang. Fair suck of the salve, in the simplest terms, is like, you gotta be kidding me. Beauty is beauty. It's like beauty, like B-E-W-D-Y. It's just beauty, obviously.
Right.
I saw that in the game and I was so confused. I was
Yeah.
like, what is this slang? I've never heard of this. And I'm so glad I know it's Australian now because
Yeah.
it'll totally like tint how I read those Malasada posts.
Yeah.
But I wonder if it has something to do with like Polynesians, because the Polynesians that were like in like the Eastern Australia plus like those islands and then went over to Hawaii, like brought a whole lot of the culture there. So I don't know if that's like saying like I don't know if it's saying that maybe the future region will be Hawaii or like nodding to the cultures that came to Hawaii. I have no idea, but because I'm not culturally educated enough to know. But
Yeah, interesting.
But it's interesting, and thank you. And now I know, because in our Let's Play, when we finally get to that point where I do read that thing, I'm like, what? What is this? What does this mean? I've never heard this.
He also includes that a furphy is a ridiculous rumor.
Ah,
A furphy?
a furphy.
Be a
furphy.
great one chunk of a Pokemon's name. I don't know. I'm saying
Furphy?
like
It's like two
Yeah.
Pokemon names mixed together or something.
it's like Furfifi. It's like a dog that like tells rumors. Like a poodle. A
Yeah.
rumor poodle.
That's great. Yo, thank you for that email, Lord Nathaniel. Great.
Yes, thank you. But there was a question. There was a question. Yeah, that was what
Yeah,
region?
the question was what region. We've talked about this before. Last time I said I think India, and somebody said Russia, like a snowy, like sort of like Russian Siberia.
Yeah, that's what I said last time. I think I've changed my tune.
I would like to see like an ancient Egypt-based one, like almost like dig sites, almost like Indiana Jones feeling Pokemon game.
Crazy.
I'd like a Iceland, Scotland, sort of like
green
Yeah, I
mixture.
think that would
mixture,
be. I think that would be really neat.
Yeah, like in general, cold weather, rainy, lots of like green rolling hills, which you don't have wide expanses like that in Pokemon very often. Routes are very like condensed.
Now it's
It would
like
be-
possible.
Yeah, it would be pretty cool to see just like basically a massive field that would span your screen like 8 times over in each direction.
Pokemon
Just has, like, a-
Breath of the Wild crossover confirmed.
I think we are about due for a like an Africa safari
That'd be tight.
Pokemon.
That'd be tight. That'd be like so
The-
cool.
Like
The
if the
only
next one
reason-
is like Africa, like it's just like open world.
The only reason I would object is because Oros was like tropically kind of vibe, and Sun and Moon is like tropical vibe as well. And
Yeah, I
not
mean
that-
more like Savannah, Africa kind of vibe.
yeah. I don't
Yeah.
know. I just want something with rain, lots and lots of rain and green.
Yeah, I'm with you there. All right. So this next email, that was from Lord Nathaniel. This next email is from Trigger. Styles of play and sacrificing progress for variety. Hello, Dexcast, Kellz, Alex, Schrodinger's Jimmy, and Best Lillipup Wallace. Hope you're doing better. Please don't let those pesky poison types keep a good host down. Last week, you all briefly discussed your style of play. Kellz prefers to invest time in her team as she takes on the island challenges, and Alex prefers to invest time into Pokemon for the post-game challenges. I know these are probably significantly boiled-down versions of how you both actually play the game, but it sparked my interest as I have put some thought into this subject, having observed how my friends play as well. Priorities-wise, I believe that completion of the Pokedex and the acquisition of every Pokemon and its subsequent forms, this includes Shinies, are at the top of my list. But directly under that is the enjoyment of the interaction and growth of my adventure team. One of my lamentations with the Pokemon games is that to take a different team through the region challenges and gain both the EXP/EV/Poké Dollars and experience events, I would have to erase my game and start a new one or buy a completely new game. I'd love to have the opportunity to take an entirely new team through the challenge again, but I'd hate to lose my project with the dex completion, items obtained, or other such time-consuming activities that I would lose such should I reset. Having that one opportunity to have this adventure is probably what makes it feel so special, but I would still love to take an Alolan Sandshrew and experience the game with new friends. Alex, Kellz, I'd love to hear your thoughts on the matter. Hashtag kind of a long email. No, it's not. Hashtag but only just. No, it's not. Hashtag Sandshrew, who is the best mouse. Hashtag not actually a mouse. Hashtag thinking of hashtags is hard. Hashtag later man.
I think it would be cool to have like an adventure game plus. Like if you complete it once, you get to start it over, but you get to have just like all your Pokemon again, and all of the challenges are harder.
Yeah, like maybe it has like 5 loops till it gets to just like 100 all, and then you can just like replay it over and over and over.
It'd be neat.
It'd be like super dope, right?
Yeah.
Righteous.
Watch.
I don't know. What do you guys think?
Do you think that that's like a likely thing that could ever happen in Pokemon? Or I mean, like quite honestly, I feel like I feel like it's not something that is really on their radar. But like,
I think it's
But
like
I
the
think-
equivalent to like having PvP and PvE events in like any other game that people are expected to play for hundreds of hours. You know?
yeah, yeah. I
Like-
would like to be able to redo events and stuff because there are also like dialogue things that only happen once that are lore based, and it would be really nice to be able to like go back to that mission. But then they may have to like divide it up into chapters, and would that change the flow of the game? Or
It would be cool if there was some sort of like replayable dungeons that like are random or just something for people who don't care about fighting other people. But I'm not like, I feel like that's kind of the point of the game is like training your Pokemon to battle. So I, don't feel too bad that it's not there. But if I could think of one place that Pokemon could improve, it's to include something like the Chalice dungeons from Bloodborne, where you can like street pass good caves that have like rare pokes, or like, dude, like this cave has like 5 IV Dittos in it or something like that. Like, oh, like get that QR code, spread it around, like whatever.
Yeah, it'd be cool to have something like that in the like. Well, you know what? I feel like I'd feel bad tacking Street Pass into it as like a requirement, just because if it's for the single player people, they might not want to be going out to get Street Passes.
Well, I mean, even spot pass, like whatever,
yeah.
like just something where it like rotates in, like a couple, like Little Big Planet. You know, you can just like kind of like jump into a couple different levels right away, and you don't have to like look for them. Mm-hmm. Something like that. Like that's a way that I could like balance out the gameplay, because literally, like what the game is like slowly crossing things off your to-do list until you're only able to focus on competitive battling.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, like you can say like I'm a breeder. You know, but like really all you're doing is breeding Pokemon to either compete in contests or compete in battles, right? That's like how you get better at breeding, is by like learning how to manipulate those factors. So I just think it would be cool if like, you know, there was like special dungeons that needed like specific types of Pokemon that you needed to breed for. You know, like just other reasons to breed, other reasons, just other big, like another big show for Pokemon. Other than just like the Pokemon Tournament.
Right.
You know, like another like awesome thing for Pokemon trainers to do that's like single player based.
Yeah, for sure.
Maybe like a gear mechanic. I don't know. Anyway, thank you, Trigger. What else?
What else?
What else?
What else?
This next one is from Codex of Wisdom. Alola Dex Crew. This is
Alola.
Pokemon on the
Alola.
Switch and Z-Moves. Alola. I have a couple things I want to talk about. First off is your discussment last week. You spoke of a different version of Sun and Moon on the Switch, or a third game. The vibe I got from the teaser commercial, however, is that it will be able to use existing 3DS cards. If this is the case, it still doesn't forego a different version. However, it could use the card with a downloaded expansion for better graphics or extra content. We, of course, will just have to wait and see. While getting more onto a Pokemon topic, there are a few Pokemon with species-specific Z-moves. Pikachu, Eevee, the starters, and others I won't spoil. There has been discussion in the past of Alolan forms and Megas we've wanted to see. What Pokemon would you like to see a custom Z-move for, and how would you design the attack? I think earth-shattering Z-moves for legendaries and pseudo-legendaries would be cool, like a Lugium Z that called all 3 legendary birds for an attack. My friend Driftblim could use some love too, with some sort of carried into the underworld type move. Thanks for all your videos and podcasts, and have a good week. Hashtag sorry for the long email. Hashtag it actually kind of is. No, it's not, dude. It's so short. Hashtag Monday Crew. Hashtag sincerely Codex of Wisdom.
I would love. First of all, I love this question. And second of all, we technically already do have like a Pokemon with a Z move, kinda. That isn't a Z move in Mega Rayquaza. Like having
Right.
Dragon Ascent sort of like locked in a similar way to a Z move. Of course, I can use it multiple times, so it doesn't really count. But I would love to see Scizor get like instead of X Scissor, get Z Scissor. And it's just like an uber mega powered stab physical bug move, which there aren't many.
Changes the direction of his slices.
Throws a kick in there.
Yeah.
or Scrafty to get some sort of like thuggish Team Skull walk inspired like beat down, a dark type Z move.
Like literally beat down, like with like sick beats.
Yeah.
I love that. Like this, like we see Scrafty as like an 80s like hip hop DJ.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's so funny. I want there to be like Bender, like Z Bender, and it's for Spinda.
Okay.
And it's just every Pokemon on the field gets knocked out or something like that.
No, I think they should all be confused except for Spinda.
Everybody gets confused.
Everyone gets like hurt and confused except for Spinda.
I just want Spinda to just get all the Pokemon wasted,
Yeah.
and then they all just like pass out. Because it's not like you don't kill the Pokemon, you just knock them out. So
everything on the field takes a very large hit and is confused and poisoned.
Suddenly, one of the Pokemon on the other team is about to be married, and the other Pokemon go down to Las Vegas with him. And then they wake up in the morning and he's gone. And they don't know where he is. And then they look around for him and they retrace their steps and they find a baby Pokemon. And then they have to make it back to the wedding on time. That could be.
And
the
then
move.
one of them is extremely sunburned. Yeah.
Yeah. There could be a Z move where a millionaire
Oh no.
finds a way to extract DNA from a mosquito.
Okay, go on.
from the dinosaur
Right.
times, and then bring dinosaurs back to life. Guys, I forgot about something. We have to stop the Pokemon talk for just 1 second for a quick sidebar about one of the most significant scientific discoveries of our time
I saw
being
this.
made today.
Oh my.
They found a intact dinosaur tail in amber with feathers on it, and the feathers were chestnut brown and white, and it's a raptor / T-Rex type dinosaur.
And it was a baby.
That's cool AF.
Confirmed.
There is not genetic material that was preserved.
What?
So there's no cloning of this thing.
Right.
But it was perfectly aesthetically preserved, so we know exactly what it looked like.
Isn't that like the coolest thing you've ever
That's
done?
like the first time we've done that in dinosaur history.
As people puzzle out the answers, so cool.
So-
But okay,
so
back
nice.
to
now
Pokemon talk.
we're inevitably gonna get the like George Lucas Star Wars remake trilogy version of Jurassic Park with all of the dinosaurs re-CGI'd to have feathers on them.
Can't wait for
And
that.
the when the one spits in at Newman, he's gonna go, no.
Yeah, and the sick Triceratops
Yeah.
is going to have a walkie-talkie instead of a
Yeah.
horn. Yeah. Anyway, okay. Let's move
Yep.
on. We got just a couple more for you, and then we'll be out of your hair.
Ooh.
Here we go. This one is from a not-so-ace trainer. Thoughts on Pokemon Sun? No story spoilers. Hey, the Dexcast. I love Pokemon Sun, and it's close to my favorite game in the series, but doesn't quite beat out my all-time favorite, Heart Gold. One of my favorite additions to the game is how different Pokemon may be found in different patches of grass in the same route. For example, Bagon can only be found in one specific grass cluster on a certain route. That makes it more rewarding to check all the grass patches instead of going in one area, checking for what Pokemon spawn and then trying to avoid the rest of the grass. This also makes it awesome to discover hidden patches of grass because they might not have the same Pokemon as the rest of the route. However, I do have one little grievance with the game: spawn rates. Some Pokemon have a very low spawn rate. Some make sense, like Bagon having a 1% chance to call a Salamence for help, but that doesn't explain why Bagon itself also has to have a 1% spawn rate. Also, there are SOS battle exclusive Pokemon, meaning you are not finding these outside SOS battles. And while I don't care about the SOS exclusive Pokemon in theory, they don't like to show up for me, so either they have a low call rate, or I am just very unlucky, which is probably true. These things can be frustrating for a person who for the first time is trying to complete the Dex. The Alola Dex, that is. Previous games I've had made it seem like an impossible task. I started with Heart Gold because it took me so long to get a DS, but I can't complain too much because it's so rewarding to catch these rare encounters. Stay cool. Thank you for all your work. Because of you guys, I found a way to use my favorite Pokemon without it hindering the rest of my team. Sheer Force Life Orb for Alligator OP.
Nice.
Sincerely, a not-so-ace trainer.
Good points all.
Agreed.
Yeah, we talked about this a little bit a second ago, but like I very much agree with it. You know, like it's just not a good whatever. We get it. We all are annoyed by it. I don't even know why it's worth talking. At this point, we all know.
Yeah,
I don't know any I would love to hear from somebody who's like, I actually think it enriches my experience. I would love to hear from that person. Like in non-sarcastic way.
I agree with them on the grass patches, that like it's cool that there's finally like, it's not just like Pokemon you can find on this route and it's just like a list. Like it's cool that like in theory you can have like a little area and then maybe there's a big ass strength rock and you move the strength rock out of the way and behind it was like a small shady patch of grass that has a specific Pokemon that was hiding back there, you know?
Right.
I like that in theory. But because there are like 800 Pokemon now, and because on every route you can catch like 9 or 10 in each type of grass patch, like it makes it, again, it's something I like in theory that in execution I don't have enough time to just keep grinding through the grass and see like what else is in here. But so, usually I find something new every time I enter the grass. Though I think it's about time that we filled caves up with not Zubat. Why is there still a Zubat cave in this game?
It's so silly.
Also, the Zubat
really
can call
bizarre.
for help for more Zubats.
Yeah, and sometimes it's a Golbat.
Why can't you throw a Pokeball when they call for help? Why is it?
I know. I know. We all know.
Literally, it's like it is impossible to aim. It's not. My Pokemon can aim at one or the other with an attack.
Right. We all I don't know anybody who likes it. That's what I'm saying. Like, I would just love to hear somebody who like. I just want to know why you like it. I just want to know if you
Right.
like it.
I
why.
wanna-
It's not. I'm not going to make fun of you. I just want to know
I'm
why.
not either. I'm just going to tell you that you're wrong. But
Yeah.
No, I'm kidding. I'm
Yeah,
kidding.
I mean,
wouldn't
look,
do that.
if you sit there and you convince me, great. But like, I'm not gonna like poo-poo you. I just want to know. Couple more emails. What do we
Sounds
think?
good.
Couple more.
Yep.
Sounds good.
Sounds good. All right. This next one is from Dex researcher Colin. Guys, I don't know if you knew this. I don't know if this even is related to this. It probably is, just based on what this email seems to be about. But we have a Discord
We
now.
do.
Yeah.
And you can go get the link for that in any of our videos from now on. I'm going to add it to the template that we have that adds all the links and things to our videos. And you can just join, and there's a room for talking about just like nerdy Pokemon stuff that you just want to talk about, or talking about whatever, really. There's a room for like discussing research theories and like brainstorming ideas. And, you know, we pop in and like, you know, if it's a good theory, like we'll take it into consideration and credit you. And there's a place that's like a union room where you can like set up battles and trades. And there's voice channels. It's a good thing. And, you know, we're going to start using it when we do like Pokemon related streams. So it's going to be a really fun thing.
It's really cool. I've been popping in every once in a while and just like seeing what people are on about, and like it seems like a really cool community, and people have liked it a lot so far. I hope
Yeah.
you will check it out.
Give it a shot. But this is from Dex researcher Colin. A useful tidbit. I read it that way because it says a useful tidbit, but then between the word useful and tidbit is parentheses with a
You're
question
right.
mark in it.
Yeah.
A useful tidbit. Alola Dexcast and Pupboy Wallace.
Alola.
I just had a little tidbit that seemed kind of obscure. Very minor post-game spoilers, not plot related, really an aesthetic spoiler at worst. I want to say that I went through this email before we read it, and I deemed it worthy of this cast. I don't think it's a big enough spoiler to ruin anybody's experience, but if you want to skip this email, go ahead. I'm just giving you a warning.
All right.
Not very plot related, an aesthetic spoiler at worst. On the way to the battle tree, I walked a little too far to the left and ended up in Resolution Cave. End cave in Japanese. When you get all the way to the bottom of the cave, there's a trail that leads into a room that has small paths trailing off, making the exact same shape of the part of the cave that we found 50% Zygarde in during XY.
Huh.
Oh.
Dead in the center where the first Zygarde was found, there's a single cell in Alola. The fact that the cave is the same shape could mean that Zygarde burrows to shed cells / change forms. There's some sort of aura burst so powerful that the blast makes a new cave, shaped like the two we have seen in the games. Or maybe it means something else. If you haven't already noticed this, I'd love to hear where this coincidence takes your brains. Keep up the good work. Dex Researcher Colin, sent from my Rotom. P.S. I love everything you do, and I have a team of Whimsicott, Scrafty, and Breloom, all inspired by
Hell
you
yeah.
guys that have taken me a long way in the battle Maison.
Aww.
There you go.
That is the
Thank you.
coolest.
Yo, I think that we're going to find out that there's Zygarde all over the place.
You think so?
I think we're going to find out that Zygarde are like a sentinel species. That like there's like one that's like a network of Pokemon that protect the world. Or Zygarde has half that stays in Alola and half that stays in Kalos, and there's something about the two regions that ties them together. Those are my two theories right now. That's just me spitballing.
Sure.
I don't know enough about Zygarde, to be honest, to...
There really isn't a lot definitive about Zygarde. He's like a really poorly fleshed out guy, but I mean, there's some info in the anime, but we don't know how reliable it is
Yeah.
to the lore of the game, so it's kind of weird. But like, that's big stuff. Like, I did not know about that.
That's really cool.
Yeah, I didn't know about that either. I'm excited to see that cave when I get to that zone.
Yeah, pretty crazy. I don't know. I'm smelling that there's a lore, you guys. Like, I'm smelling that like Pokemon has finally like read the writing on the wall and just been like, we need to like start like making
pulling
a
this all
cohesive-
together?
Yeah, like there needs to be like glue that's holding all this together, and I think they're doing it. And I'm excited to see where it's taking us. Like, I still don't feel satisfied by Zygarde. Right? Like, he's in this game again. He has his 100% form. Cinna and Dexio are here. I'm still not satisfied. I just want to know. I just want to know what the deal is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel you. I feel you on that.
It's weird
Alright.
that it spans multiple games.
Yeah. Okay. So, this next one, actually, you know what? I'm not going to read this one because it does kind of have a story spoiler.
Okay.
But here we go. I'm going to read another one now. This one is from Joseph. Still 25 unused type combinations with 801 Pokemon. No spoilers. This is from Joseph. from Greeley, Colorado.
Okay.
Dear Kellz and Alex, Pokemon Sun and Moon have been out for less than a month, so naturally I'm already thinking about Generation 8. Alola introduced many new previously unused type combinations, such as those of Salandit, Drampa, and Alolan Rattata, but there's one type combination I've been yearning to encounter since Gold and Silver that did not make it into Generation 7. Gen 2 added Dark and Steel, recalibrated the type matchups, and introduced Girafarig, the cute little palindrome that showed the world that normal type could be combined with types other than flying. And since Gen 2, I have most wanted to see a normal Ghost-type Pokemon, or Ghost Normal. It makes no difference to me. Under normal conditions, a normal Ghost-type Pokemon would be immune to normal fighting and Ghost-type attacks, be resistant to poison and bug types, and only weak to Dark. Previously, I've pondered what a normal Ghost-type Pokemon would look like, possibly a specter of a mammalian creature, but with regional variants now. I feel like the old constraints on designs have gone away. Perhaps in the next region we'll find a variant of the Slackoth or Lillipup lines with an added Ghost type. Or it could look like a Charlie Brown's Great Pumpkin Ghost.
Named Booger.
Yeah, Booger. The greatest Pokemon
Get
of all
into
time.
that after the email is finished.
Hashtag Booger. I don't know how to differentiate that from the word booger. Anyway, I'm a huge fan of your YouTube channel, and I love all the ridiculous segments, old and new. And with your expertise, I'd like to hear which unused type combinations would you most likely to have, and what real-world influences could be drawn upon in the design of this new Pokemon. I've included a list of all 25 unused type combinations and their respective defensive type advantages and disadvantages after the end of this email to help with this question. You don't have to read the list on air. Hashtag actual long email. Hashtag sorry not sorry. Hashtag steal my list. Hashtag Team Instinct. Hashtag Team Sun. Hashtag Team Rowlet. Hashtag Free Nebby. Sincerely, Joseph. So you want me to go down the list and just quickly read them off?
Just read off the list real quick so I can just double check.
Normal Poison, Normal Rock, Normal Bug, Normal Ghost, Normal Steel, Normal Ice, Fighting Ground, Fighting Ghost, Fighting Electric, Fighting Fairy, Poison Steel, Poison Electric, Poison Psychic, Poison Ice, Poison Fairy, Ground Fairy, Rock Ghost, Bug Psychic, how is that not a thing? Bug Ice, Bug Dragon, why not Flygon? Fire Grass, Paradox, Fire Ice, Bigger Paradox, Electric Dark, why not Luxray, Dark Fairy?
Fire Grass, that's one I've always wanted.
Yeah, Fire Grass, because I want a habanero pepper Pokemon.
That's like a no-brainer.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, and also, well, Fire Grass is a good one. I've always wanted Ghost Fighting and Ghost Fairy.
I've always wanted
Ghost
Poison,
Fighting.
Poison Electric. I thought that would be a really cool type.
Right. Could be like
And
an
I've always
electric eel or something. Oh, I guess we already have
Yeah,
one
and
of those.
I've always wanted Electric Dark, big time.
Is Electric Dark?
Oh, Electric
Electric Dark's not a thing?
Yeah, and neither is Bug Psychic, which like blows my
Electric
mind.
Dark should be a light bulb.
I just call it Electric Dark.
I mean, no, but it could be like Darmanitan with its like form change, or like
Off
like
and on?
Aegislash, but it's like
Circle form and line form.
when you attack with an electric attack, it turns on. When you attack with a dark attack, it turns off.
That's
I
like
don't know what
really
I don't
cool.
know what it
Cool.
does when it's on and off, but it does. But it does
Well,
that.
you can see when it's on and when it's off. You can't.
His
see
evasion
well.
goes up a lot.
Oh my god, that's hilarious.
My-
That'd be so cool.
Am I Junichi Masuda? Should I take over Pokemon Company? I don't know.
Am I? Should I? Hashtag am I? Should I? Bug Psychic needs to happen.
Yeah, that's crazy that that's not a thing
Like,
yet.
or like, some type of like, or Poison Psychic, like a snake with like hypnotizing eyes. Mm-hmm. Something like that, like from the Jungle Book. That's a no-brainer. I don't know. That's what I got. Anybody else have like a big one that they're like yearning to get out there?
I mean, oh, you know what would be cool?
What?
Normal ghost or normal dark or normal fairy. Any combination of those, and have like a mimic Pokemon, like classical,
Like an alternative to Ditto?
no, like a
Similar?
chest with teeth and a mouth.
Oh, like a mimic.
Like a classical fantasy mimic.
Like a fantasy dungeon mimic. Yeah. That'd be awesome. I don't know why there's not that already. There's so many boxes that are Pokemon already.
Yeah.
Or like haunted things. That should be a thing.
Yeah, I mean, it could be ghost for that reason. It could be fairy because it's like a fairy tale creature, or it could be dark because it's like dark indigenous, but also part
grass
part
dragon,
normal too. Yeah.
Grass dragon because it's wooden and a monster. So lame. All right. Thank you for that email. One more email. This one is from Josh. Sun and Moon thoughts. Alex, Kellz, and Jimmy. Hi, my name is Josh, and I've been diving into Sun and Moon ever since it came out. I've had some mixed thoughts about the game and a wild theory my brother and I came up with that I was hoping I could get your opinions on. Overall, I've enjoyed the game quite a bit, and some of the new Pokemon immediately made my list of favorites. # Team Rowlet, # Team Wimpod, # Team Rockruff. Yeah, Wimpod.
Great ones.
Wimpod's evolution is tight. I thought the story was great. I really enjoyed Lily's character and thought there were some welcome changes to the game's formula with Poke Ride and Trials, though I do miss the classic gyms. But there are a couple things about the game that I didn't like. My first issue was that starting with the third island, I thought that some of the new Pokemon are too hard to find. It seemed like all the Alola Pokemon were the rarest on the route, were in a side area that you didn't need to go or needed to be fished from special fishing spots, and because of that, it seemed like I wasn't finding any. The other problem I had was that the post-story content seemed lacking, particularly for someone who isn't really into the competitive battling scene. With a limited amount of post-story content and lack of the national dex, it felt to me like the game was unfinished, which leads me to the crazy theory with some minor spoilers. Just to augment that real quick. Piggyback on it. This is basically what we were talking about earlier. It's just like that there needs to be some more single player stuff.
Yeah.
But also, I mean, there are Pokemon that you can get in this game from outside the Alolan Dex. I don't know if that changes anything, but you can get them. So I'm not too worried about it. Maybe it'll be something that they roll out about like maybe in January when Pokemon Bank comes out or something like that. But here we go. Here's the theory. My brother pointed out that there are several empty lots all around the islands, and he said that he hoped that these lots would turn into gyms. That turned out not to be the case, but it got me thinking. What if the Pokemon game coming to the Switch is Pokemon Stars, which has the Sun and Moon story as a starting point, then adds the national dex and additional content after the main story, such as gyms being set up on each island or going to other regions? Thanks for all the great Pokemon content that you make. I'm looking forward to your coverage of the Gen 4 remakes. Josh, # Team Turtwig, # completely vertical, sorry for the long email in all caps. # see what I did there. He made it longer. # okay, really sorry, that was stupid.
No.
You don't have to really be sorry about that. It was just a small joke that you made. It's okay. Don't be afraid. I like the idea that eventually those empty lots will become gyms. And I'm wondering if there's more secrets that Sun and Moon hold. Because, we know this game is unconventional, and this is something that I've just kind of felt about the game in general, is that I feel like there's nothing really stopping them from sort of like adding things to the game through patches this time around.
Oh
Right?
yeah, I think that's reasonable.
Like, I don't think there's anything that's like saying like we can't get like an update and then like gyms are built, or like somebody's building some buildings and then like in another update they're done. You know what I mean?
Yeah, sure.
How hype would that be? If it was like general updates and you go back to how it's just like, stability updates, and then you go to Howley City and it's
then there's the Mauville Game Corner. Da, 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 da.
the Mauville Game Corner. It's from Mauville City
Imported
somehow.
Imported the
Mauville.
whole building. Still
They
closed.
did that like weird like helicopter like wide load
Yeah, but it's still
on the
closed.
freeway. Yeah, never open.
It's just there to with the sign that says thanks for all the support.
It's an abandoned building with ghost type Pokemon in it.
No, you can't
new
get
slot
in
machine.
though. It's closed.
A new slot machine ghost Pokemon. All right. That'd be great though, real talk. I'd be into that. Thank you for that email. Guys, that brings us again to the end of another Fanswers segment and an end of the podcast. If you guys want to bring us or send us some emails, the email address again, and don't forget this, is thedexcast@gmail.com. That's THEDEXCAST@gmail.com. Thank you for listening to this podcast. My name is Alex.
I'm Jimmy.
And I'm Pokken.
And we will see you nerds next time. Bye. Like, comment, subscribe.
Later, man.